I believe it's on everyone. Yeah, it is. All right. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for hopping on the webinar. I'm excited to be here and we're thrilled to have you with us. I always say that this is not always the most exciting topic, but it's so crucial for your business. You want to know if you're making a profit or not. I get it. You want to know how your restaurant, your bakery, your bar, or whatever business you have is doing. So you don't necessarily want to understand how you categorize each and every transaction, but you want to know overall how you're doing in business. Does it make sense to continue the breakfast service? You've been thinking that the AM service in your business is so quiet, and you're saying to yourself, am I losing money by being open at this time? Those kinds of things. You want to get those questions answered by having updated and accurate financial reports. In today's webinar, we're going to talk about why you should hire a restaurant-specific bookkeeper over a generalist. And I'm here to show you how specialized expertise can make a difference. I promise we're not going to take up too much of your time, but feel free to put any questions in the chat as we go. So let's see. Let's see if I can move it. Okay. Now, wherever you are in your restaurant's financial journey, my team and I are here to fully support you. If we've never met before, I'm Chris Adams, and this is my family. I live in New Hampshire, and after 12 wonderful years of owning and operating a successful catering business and a pizza place, I eventually sold both businesses and now run a virtual bookkeeping agency for the last 7 years. We are dedicated to helping restaurant owners like you manage your finances more effectively. We specialize in providing bookkeeping services to the food and beverage industry. Throughout my career, what I loved most was knowing my numbers. I know most restaurant owners don't usually say that, but it was true for me. Understanding the financial aspects of my businesses was key to success. And today I'm excited to share why that is. Now, I wasn't always like that for the first few years. I didn't know what my numbers were. I didn't know if I was making a profit. I didn't know my payroll percentages were, and more importantly, what they should be. So eventually I saw the impact an updated QuickBooks file did for my businesses, and having accurate reports, having an accurate and updated profit and loss and balance sheet, what it did for me. And I want to do that for you as well. I realized what a tool, a software like QuickBooks Online can be if you're actually using it in the right way. One reason I didn't know if I was making a profit or not was because I didn't know how to pull reports in QuickBooks. Once I figured it out, it was kind of like a gut punch. I was like, oh, is that what I've been making? When you don't pull reports and only look at the money in your bank account, then you think you are doing okay. And maybe that's what you've been doing too. Again, I have been in your shoes. But that is where I want to start today. I want to explain why hiring a restaurant-specific bookkeeper is so much more beneficial than hiring a generalist bookkeeper. Generalist bookkeepers may offer broad services, but we provide solutions that are tailored to the nuances of your restaurant. I see that Brent has raised his hand, so let's see what he's saying. Raise your hand if you sometimes often struggle to get accurate monthly reports and have time to make the adjustments needed. So true. Is anyone like that? Put a yes in the chat if you are. If you struggle with this. Yes, Rita says yes. We all feel it. And we understand, and that's why we offer the services that we offer. Thanks, Rita, for participating. Let's see. All right, before we dive into the specifics of hiring a restaurant-specific bookkeeper, let's talk about why mastering your restaurant's finances is so important. Mastering the financial landscape in your restaurant is the fastest way to truly understand the numbers so you know what is happening in your restaurant. Effective financial management helps you, one, improve profitability. By understanding your financials, you can make informed decisions to boost your bottom line. Two, it enhances cash flow. Good financial practices ensure you have the cash you need when you need it. And 3, it ensures compliance, staying on top of tax laws and regulations, avoid costly penalties. And the last one is plan for growth. Solid financials provide foundation for expansion and investment opportunities. My goal for you today is to empower you with the knowledge and insights you need to take control of your restaurant's financial health. By the end of this webinar, I want you to understand the importance of specialized bookkeeping. Recognize the value that a restaurant-specific bookkeeper brings to your business compared to a generalist. I want you to identify key financial opportunities. Learn how mastering your restaurant's finances can lead to increased profitability, better cash flow, and compliance. And then I want you to feel confident in your financial decisions. Gain the confidence to make informed financial decisions that drive growth and success in your restaurant. I want to ensure you leave this webinar with a clear understanding of how tailored financial expertise can make a significant difference in your business. Now, let's explore why hiring a restaurant-specific bookkeeper is more beneficial than a generalist. A specialized bookkeeper brings industry-specific knowledge and experience that can significantly impact your business. First, let's talk about industry knowledge. Restaurant-specific bookkeepers are adept at understanding seasonal trends. We know how to anticipate cash flow fluctuations and help you plan for peak and off-peak seasons. Cash flow is one of the biggest headaches of restaurant owners. I know I don't need to tell you that, but we can help you. You know, a generalist bookkeeper may be working with you and possibly many other clients in different industries, so they don't pick up on the specific trends. For instance, they may be working with a hairdresser and a plumber and a retail store, so they aren't thinking specifically about your food business and what the seasonal trends are. Familiar with restaurant-specific metrics, we understand and track KPIs, key performance indicators, like food cost percentages, prime cost, and table turnover rates, which is crucial for assessing your restaurant's health. So tracking those KPIs are so important, and a generalist may not even know which ones are important for your food business. Now let's discuss tax expertise. Restaurant-specific bookkeepers excel in sales tax compliance. We have a deep understanding of sales tax requirements specific to restaurants, including the tips and service charges, ensuring you remain compliant, which is so beneficial. Deduction optimization. We know which industry-specific expenses are deductible, such as employee meals and uniforms, significantly impacting tax savings. As restaurant-specific bookkeepers, we have in-depth knowledge of tax deductions unique to the food and beverage industry. Understanding and leveraging these deductions can significantly impact your restaurant's tax savings. Let me explain a few key areas where deduction optimization makes a difference. So, employee meals. Many restaurants overlook that cost of meals provided to employees during their shifts can often be deducted. This deduction not only reduces taxable income, but it also acknowledges the operational necessity of feeding staff who work long hours. So I'm going to stop right here. I want you to put it in the chat if you use that deduction for your restaurant. Anybody do that? And then we're going to cover a few more deductions. Maybe that's meaning no. All right, I will move on. I'll talk about another deduction: uniform and work attire. Expenses for uniforms or other required work attire can be deductible. This includes not just the purchase of the uniforms, but also their cleaning and maintenance if required for the job. So we know that, you may have uniforms for your servers or for your bartenders, and some of that can be deducted. Another one is food and beverage costs. While most of your inventory will be sold to customers, spoilage and waste can sometimes be accounted for in your deductions. So a restaurant-specific bookkeeper will know the nuances of how to properly account for and document these deductions. Marketing and advertising. Expenses related to marketing your restaurant, such as promotions and special events, can sometimes be deductible. And having a clear understanding of these areas can maximize your deductions. Another one is operational expenses. So we ensure that all deductible operational expenses like kitchen supplies, maintenance, and repairs are accurately recorded, maximizing your potential deductions. So by identifying and recording these deductions, we ensure your restaurant minimizes its tax liabilities, keeping more money in your business so you can use it for growth and development. A restaurant-specific bookkeeper can help you navigate these opportunities, ensuring you take full advantage of every available deduction. So let me check in. What questions do you have right now? Would anyone like to put in the chat their pain points with either doing their own bookkeeping or using a generalist? Anybody want to share anything about that? I know we all have pain points with bookkeeping. If not, we will move on. Let's see. All right, we will move on. This is a shy group. So when it comes to cost control, restaurant-specific bookkeepers provide menu insight. We can help analyze dish profitability. We can offer valuable insights into menu pricing and cost control to optimize profits. Inventory management, we can understand the complexity of inventory management in restaurants, helping you reduce waste and prevent theft. Another one is payroll. In terms of the payroll management, a restaurant-specific bookkeeper can help you with tip reporting and allocation. We are skilled in managing tip income and ensuring compliance with tip credit rules. I could challenge you and say that a general bookkeeper wouldn't know about the tip credit rules. Understanding labor costs. We efficiently manage labor costs, including overtime and split shifts, which are prevalent in the restaurant industry. We break it out between departments. This is a big one. One of the biggest headaches for restaurant owners is payroll costs. Since restaurants have such a low profit margin, we need to be so specific with the recording of payroll to make sure you, the restaurant owner, understands what percentage your payroll is compared to what you are bringing in. We hate to see how much is spent in payroll, and a lot of times the owners have no idea that it's completely out of whack with the restaurant standards. They're just creating an employee schedule, making sure all shifts are covered. But if they can start to analyze the payroll numbers, they can start to see if they are scheduling way too much, spending so much on payroll weekly or biweekly. It's a big, big expense. And finally, the most important reason to hire a restaurant-specific bookkeeper involves the recording of sales, because we see it over and over when we're taking on a new client that the previous bookkeeper did not record the sales correctly. Most generalist bookkeepers will just take the amount that is deposited into their checking account and just call it sales. It will go on your profit and loss statements as sales, but that is so not accurate. I would love for you to take a look at your QuickBooks file as soon as we get off this webinar and see how you are currently recording the sales. This is the biggest one that we could teach you. We create a daily sales journal entry that breaks out the credit cards, the third-party deliveries, the sales tax, tips, refunds, gift cards, cash. And there's a few others in one journal entry. If someone is recording it as one lump sum, then you're overpaying on taxes, overstating your income, and it's making you not have accurate reports. Generalist bookkeepers might not have the specialized knowledge needed for restaurant industry, leading to common mistakes such as misclassification of expenses. Incorrectly categorizing expenses can lead to inaccurate financial statements. For example, mixing up direct costs like food and beverage with overhead, utilities, rent, that sort of thing. Failure to track KPIs, ignoring critical restaurant-specific KPIs like COGS or labor cost percentages can hurt profitability analysis. Inefficient inventory management, like incorrect inventory valuation methods, can distort profit margins. Inadequate tax handling, mismanagement of sales tax and tip reporting can risk non-compliance and penalties. Improper revenue recognition. So what we just talked about on the last slide, not understanding nuances like accounting for gift cards can cause revenue timing errors. And let's see, lack of regulatory compliance. Staying updated on health and safety regulations is crucial, and a generalist might overlook these. The biggest takeaway that I wanted to present today is choosing a bookkeeping partner who truly understands your industry can make all the difference in the world. As a former restaurant owner myself, I have been in your shoes, so I understand the headaches that bookkeeping can do when you're not sure what to do. You want accurate reports, but you don't know how to get them if you're trying to do them yourself, or if you hire someone that isn't familiar with the food and beverage industry. We would love the opportunity to discuss how we can support your restaurant's growth and profitability. But before we wrap things up, I'm excited to introduce Brent Kowalski, our new CFO here at the Food Bookkeeper, who will talk about the CFO services we offer. This is an additional service to our monthly bookkeeping offering. Brent brings a wealth of experience, and he's here to help you take your financial management even to another level. So, Brent, I'm going to let you take it away for right now.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, everybody. Thanks for jumping on. I know nobody has time for extra things, right? You're shoving everything in the best you can. I've had kind of my quick background, 15 years of different operator and owner experience in small businesses. I've been in a lot of different industries, majority of them pre-COVID. I had met a couple people that do private equity, and just before COVID, I'd started doing some consulting for them and got to learn a lot about food industry, about packaging, about a ton of different industries, really. Inside of that, I was also able to do some consulting for CFO and COO opportunities within that. So it's been an interesting 5 years, and now I've ended up here as they've phased out and helping a lot of people in the food industry try to figure out how do we squeeze out the margin that is already tight. I really like what Chris has done because we are able to actually identify what some of the pieces are that may be causing us to be profitable or lack thereof, depending on how you have everything structured. As Chris had kind of said, general bookkeepers do stuff different than maybe than what we do, right? It's a little bit more categorized, and we're able to really sort out what some of the things are that may be causing problems. Chris, if you can go to the next slide real quick.
Sure.
And I don't have very many. So my only other thought here is, what is different? What does a CFO do that a bookkeeper doesn't? And Chris already kind of went over, what do some of those general bookkeepers do versus, a specific restaurant-oriented bookkeeper? But what does a CFO do that a bookkeeper doesn't? And this is where I've kind of helped step in along with the client facing. So all of our clients, I already meet with them once a month and go over profit loss, cash flow, balance sheet. And my biggest piece there is to make sure it all looks accurate to them. We make sure everything that we have access to is in those. But if we are missing something, if they've started a new POS system, if they've brought on a new vendor, if they've done something that we don't have access to, we want to make sure that those are all up to date every month. So the first part of it is always the client facing, make sure every month that people at least have all of those reports by, the 15th of the month. And then if they need to review any of them, we can talk about that. So the piece that I wanted to make sure I disclose is everybody who does the CFO stuff, some of them are profitable. Some of them are trying to get profitable. Some of them are trying to make an exit in a year, 2 years, et cetera. So those are all things that we are helping with now, looking at the financial plan, saying, hey, this is what we need to do. Here's where we need to figure out our cost. Here's where we need to figure out our labor. What are some plans that we can do to do that? The most recent client we had was trying to figure out how are they going to make a reasonable bonus plan for their general managers, their district managers, their executive team, things like that. So we're taking the financials and making a plan for that. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't want to take too much more of your time because I know Chris has some stuff to wrap up with. But the general gist of it is we are trying to help people identify what are their main concerns, because bookkeeping does take a lot of your time and nobody has extra time as a business owner. We all know that. Or if you're managing somebody's business for them, bookkeeping is one of those tasks that it just takes a lot of time to do. And if something's wrong, it takes even more time to try to fix that and go back and sort through the statements and all of that. So those are some of the holes that we fill for people and help them really understand them and make sure we go over them with them. The one thing I will put in the chat is if you want to do right now this week, we are doing a 15-minute quick breakdown and review of people's P&Ls. And so I'd love for anybody to schedule with me. I only have this week available. So when you click on the Calendly that I will put in the chat, it'll only have, the next couple days available. And I think there's some time we've made for that. But otherwise, I'll let Chris kind of finish up and then go from there. Thank you.
Awesome. And I just put it in the chat, the Calendly link. So fantastic. Okay. So just to wrap up, let's see. And here is the link again. So now that we've covered why it's so important to hire a restaurant-specific bookkeeper, and you were able to hear from Brent, the CFO, I just wanted to find out from you, all of you, what do you need? I would love to have a conversation myself. We have Emily, who's on our sales department. We would love to understand your pain points and see how we can truly help you. We do offer a DIY bookkeeping course, which is a 6-week course, but truthfully, it is not for those restaurant owners that want to grow. That course is just for the very, very tiny restaurant owners. So ideally, you should have a bookkeeper so you can focus on your business and we can be that financial partner working right alongside of you. So the next step is to set up a meeting using our Calendly link right here. And again, it's also in the chat right now. And so that's all we have for you. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to open the floor to any remaining questions. Feel